Today, we're diving into an idea that feels, well, just plain wrong. It comes from an essay by M. Abdusalami, and it explores the audacity of ignorance. We're going to unpack why, against all common sense, it seems like fools are the ones who so often succeed where brilliant people fail.
I mean, it's a question that can drive you crazy, right? You see someone with a half-baked idea, zero plan, and just this comical level of confidence. And somehow, they actually pull it off. So we're going to get into that exact paradox. Why do fools rush in? And more importantly, how do they so often end up winning?
So let's jump right into what the author calls the success paradox. And the core idea here is going to sound completely backwards. It's that intelligent people are often the least fortunate when it comes to chasing success. It's a concept that basically flips everything we think we know on its head.
So what's going on here? Well, here's the argument in a nutshell. It's not about being smarter or having a better strategy. The key advantage that fools have is something you can barely see, an absurd, over-the-top amount of self-confidence. In a really strange way, their lack of awareness becomes their greatest strength because it completely shields them from self-doubt.
Okay, so if fools have this secret advantage, what's holding the intelligent folks back? This brings us to what the essay calls the curse of intelligence. Yeah, you heard that right. It's when your own brain, your greatest asset, turns into your biggest enemy. Okay, so check out this contrast. On one hand, you've got the intelligent mind, right? It's spinning, weighing all the different possibilities, getting totally tangled up in a bunch of what-if scenarios. But the fool's mind, it does the exact opposite. It just latches onto one single, probably ridiculous goal, and that's it, full steam ahead.
And you know, that difference in how they think, it completely changes how they act. While the intelligent person is hitting the brakes, exercising caution, analyzing all the risks, the fool doesn't even think to pause. They just rush headlong into it. The smart person thinks, while the fool just acts.
And this is where it all leads. That amazing, brilliant brain, it ends up being an anchor, sabotaging projects with endless what-ifs. But for the fool, not thinking too deeply means, well, no fear. They just don't see the 100 ways it could all go wrong, so they're not afraid to give it a shot.
So this is basically the playbook for how smart people shoot themselves in the foot. They overthink everything before they even start. They build their own roadblocks in their head. They feel like they can't make a move unless success is 100% guaranteed. And by trying to evaluate every single possibility, they often end up doing, well, nothing at all. All right, so we've seen how smart people can get in their own way. Now, let's flip it around and really dig into the fool's unfair advantage. How on earth does ignorance become this incredibly powerful weapon?
You know, it really comes down to just one thing, one single advantage, and that is a total, complete lack of self-doubt. They just don't have that little voice in their head asking, am I good enough? Or, but what if I fail? That inner critic that drives the rest of us crazy, for them, it's just radio silence.
And because that doubt just isn't there, they behave in some really specific ways. They just act, no second guessing. They're not worried about the consequences down the road. The author puts it perfectly. There is nothing in their minds powerful enough to stop them. So they just dive right in, and often they're the ones who actually get it done while the brilliant people are still on the sidelines planning.
But wait a minute. Is this really just about being, well, dumb? Or is there more to it? This is where the whole idea gets super interesting. The author suggests that maybe, just maybe, we need to completely rethink what intelligence even means.
Get a load of this quote from the essay. Their stupidity is a form of pure and elevated intelligence. Wow. I mean, think about that. It's a pretty wild idea, right? It's like an intelligence that's been stripped of all the usual safety features, like caution and hesitation. It's just pure, raw action.
You know, there's actually a famous psychological concept that explains this perfectly. It's called the Dunning-Kruger effect. It's basically a cognitive bias where people who aren't very skilled at something, well, they lack the skill to even realize they're not skilled. And what happens? They end up being wildly overconfident about their abilities.
So that Dunning-Kruger effect, that becomes the fool's superpower. That overestimation of their own skills is exactly what gives them the guts to try things that a more self-aware, more knowledgeable person would never dream of attempting. It's the fuel for their unstoppable confidence.
Okay, so if we buy into this theory, what's the takeaway? What are smart people who actually want to succeed supposed to do? That brings us to our final section, the author's really challenging and honestly pretty radical advice. So here it is, the secret playbook for success, stolen right from the fool. Step 1, act first, think later. Step 2, don't worry about the consequences. Step 3,
just be audacious. It's all about embracing that forward momentum. Of course, that's way easier said than done, right?
And this last quote from the essay just lays it all out there, no holding back. As absurd as it may seem, intelligent people literally have to behave like idiots to succeed. That's the secret. The whole trick is to somehow find the off switch for that brilliant, overthinking brain and just go.
And so all of this leaves us with the author's final, nagging question. If the so-called fool's approach leads to success and the intelligent person's approach leads to getting stuck, then who's really the intelligent one and who's the fool? Now that's something to chew on.